What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items to take back in your call center, improve the overall quality, improve your agent experience, and hopefully improve the customer experience as well. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday as I record this. It is April 17th. It's actually snowing again here in Erie, Pennsylvania. We got no snow during the winter, so it's hanging on now. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is staying safe. It's just some crazy times that we're going through, but we'll try to help each other and kind of get through this stuff together, especially when it comes to, kind of the new norm for our contact centers and customer experience centers and really how we're dealing and handling all of our calls and the needs from our customers. So again, for those of you who do not know me by now, my name is Tom Laird. I am the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing. Expivia is a call center outsourcer that is located, as I just kind of said, here in Erie, Pennsylvania. So a couple quick things before I get into today. What I want to talk about today too, just to kind of give you kind of a heads up, is I wanted to wait to do this episode until we kind of had everything kind of a little bit more in stone. But I want to give kind of the overarching way that we are now managing our at-home agents, right? So not just to kind of pick, maybe one or two things, but to look at the whole deal from the computers that they're using or how they're taking them home, how we're managing, how are supervisors doing QA, how are they monitoring and managing during the day, some security aspects that we're looking at, some policies that we're kind of talking through and have some of the reps sign. And just, kind of the overall way that I think can be helpful for those of you who are new to this, kind of like we were, right, or are, but really have dug full on board here to making sure that we're doing this the right way. And I think that we're trying to innovate a little bit in the space too, because like I said in a couple of podcasts ago, there wasn't a lot of people who were giving you information on really how to do this. It was very generic, but I'm pretty detail oriented, so I like to get really deep into the weeds and again try to give you actionable items, not just theoretical items to take back to your center. So before we get going on that, just a couple quick things. I just need a favor from everyone. I appreciate all the reviews that have been coming in. I'd like to take this a little bit more to social media. I'm just going to ask if any of you have found some value in this, and if there's any way you can maybe throw a tweet out or throw a post on LinkedIn, just maybe talking about the geek a little bit. It's maybe some of the things that we've done to help you, or how maybe it can be a recommended podcast for some of your other call center friends. Just want to keep growing the audience. The audience has been crazy. I mean, we're over 30,000, almost 32,000 downloads of the entire podcast for about the year and almost a half now that we've been doing it. So really happy with that. But if there's any help that I could get with that, I would really appreciate it if you guys could do that for me. And then the only other thing, and I talked about this last podcast, and I'm going to do this very quickly, is we do have another site or another value offering. It's called it's the Call Center Geek Consulting.com. So callcentergeekconsulting.com. And for any of you guys that are looking to maybe move your call centers, maybe looking to buy a new piece of telephony software or move into the cloud from your premise-based solution, let me know. Just kind of put your name down on. There's a little form on that landing page, and we can have a conversation. Anything, it's totally free for you. I do get paid, if we do refer any type of software. I'm fully transparent with that on the back end from the software providers. But I think guide you into some of the different platforms that are out there. Some of the pitfalls. I can even, I'd like to be part of even your negotiation team when it comes to it. I kind of know the players and know a lot of the games that they play. So again, take that if you're looking for any help. I'm more than happy to do that. And even if you just want to talk about a solution that maybe you're moving to, more than open to having that conversation anywhere I can help. All right, so let's talk about today's podcast and kind of get into this. So, as everybody's known, everybody's really moved virtual. Everybody that is still operating really is in the cloud right now. Is in the cloud and is at home. It might not be totally in the cloud. There's some other ways you could do it, but most of you guys are at home. So, the first thing I want to talk about is kind of our take-home policy. So I know a lot of the virtual call centers that are already operating, some of you are allowing your reps to use the computers, and you just have certain criteria that they have to have, certain internet connectivity. For us, all this happened so fast, we actually have given the computers to our agents. Our agents sign a pretty lengthy document that just basically says that it's only going to be used for work purposes, that they understand that they can only use it during work hours. They are the only ones that are allowed to use it, making sure that when they walk away that the system is locked down, those types of things. And then obviously if they ever leave the company, just some policies with that. We actually just hold their check, right, until the computer comes back, and then we kind of release that check. Haven't really had any issues with that, but just a little thing to kind of protect ourselves, from that standpoint. So basically, we're still doing training right now here at Expivia. So we have a waiver from the governor to stay open as a business that can do that. We're dealing with a lot of 211 and emergency lines and those types of things for coronavirus. So, we're doing some of that training here. And then as soon as, the training is done, the associates go home. When they go home, obviously they have a supervisor. And so supervisor management has taken a brand new, really a brand new role and a new way to operate. So we have written so many different policies and procedures. And if you're not doing that, you need to, right? You need to come up with a new rule book for how to operate and how your team should be operating in kind of these kind of different circumstances. So a couple things that we do. So every single day before the shift starts, the supervisor of a team will have a video chat with the entire team, right? So normally that's between 10 to 16 reps. They'll all get on. We're using Slack, as you guys know. We'll do a video chat with those guys. To kind of set the tone for the day, any type of QA, issues from yesterday, any type of KPIs that we're looking for, kind of just talk about any changes. After that happens, then in the first hour, the supervisor is to have a one-on-one video chat with each rep. So everybody will start taking calls. She'll ask somebody to go unavailable. I'll do that through Slack, and then they'll just talk individually and give it some individual goals, kind of, again, set the tone for the day. We set a 15 to 20 minute, guide to make sure that each supervisor is chatting with their team as a whole at least every 15 minutes, right? So they need to say things like, hey, having a great day, or hey, service levels look really good. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be another touch point, right? We're finding that multiple touch points are more important than just, a couple longer ones. So they need to know that the supervisor's there. They need to know that the supervisor's monitoring. Having said that, QA staff is still doing QA, right? They're still monitoring. They're still giving feedback. For us, that filters through the supervisor who gives the feedback. That's a really important tool now and a really important task to make sure that the supervisor, any type that there is, whether it's good, whether it's bad, or whether it's normal, really anything that comes out from QA or the supervisor's monitoring, that feedback needs to happen, because that's another touch point that we get to have, really without the rep thinking about it. So monitoring takes a kind of a whole new, level of importance when it comes to touching the at-home agents and making sure that we're there. The other thing that we've seen is very important is that people can get, I don't want to say lost, that's not the right word, but they sometimes don't always stay on task as much at home. So we're finding that checklists are a huge piece of important policy procedure for us to utilize. So each of the supervisors with their team have a specific checklist that we've created. Everything from their morning meeting, that they've made sure that they've touched every single associate, that they've done a video with them, that they've done a personal IM with them, that they're monitoring a certain amount of monitoring reports and scoring every single day. And then, the end of the shift, whether they have some payroll things to do or whatever those type of tasks that every organization has that's kind of unique to your organization, make sure that stuff's in there so that, they can we make sure that as best we possibly can, we're doing the same things that we were doing in-house, just doing them in kind of a unique way. The other thing is security. And I just did a little video on LinkedIn on this the other day. But for us, before the associates take their computer home, we lock we lock the computer down, right? So no data or anything can be downloaded onto a flash drive or anything like that. We make sure that we use LogMeIn, but it's a system that we can remote into the computer. So if we ever have to remote in, or maybe, just turn it off or do an update, or if the rep has an issue that they need help with, our help desk can kind of go in and remote in and kind of fix any type of issue that it comes with that. Enterprise virus protection obviously is still very, very important. So we have, virus protection that is on each of these computers as well. And then you talk about some other security things, right? So, I've gone and talked about this a lot, but if you have at-home agents, you're really not PCI compliant unless you're doing some extra things, right? So when I talk to call centers, they're like, hey, we have at-home agents, we're totally PCI compliant. And I ask, well, how are you guys taking credit card information? Well, we just, our systems are PCI compliant, our firewalls, right? PCI goes way beyond that, right? And it goes beyond, just the hardware, but it goes to your policies, the procedures, how each associate and rep is acting, and what are the proper things that they can do. So, some of the things that we have done as well is we've moved to basically an IVR system for collecting credit card information. So when a customer is on the phone with one of our reps, if we get to a point in a call where credit card or ACH information needs to be taken, we have an API connectivity to our IVR. They press a button, customer goes to the IVR. A prompt asks them for their credit card information. The agent never hears it, or whoever's in the room with the agent, which may be even scarier, right? Because they're at home now, doesn't hear it. And then they come back to the agent. The customer comes back. Only the last 4 digits of the credit card are on the screen or in the CRM that they're using, so that they can verify the last 4 digits, and then we can kind of move on from there. So you need to think through security a little bit more than you probably would if you were in a brick and mortar and you're controlling cell phones and you're controlling all those types of details, which you really can't control at home. You can tell them not to have their cell phones, but do you really know? You don't. So make sure that you can do everything, programmatically, and leaving less up to the agent from a security standpoint than that you possibly can. I think that's really, really important. The other thing that we're seeing is taking a vital importance is our dashboards, right? So your eyes and ears now went from being able to walk up and down a row of call center agents to really looking at telephony dashboard. So seeing what agent states are, what is their occupancy, what percentage of the time are they in an unavailable state, right? Are they taking themselves out when they go into after call work? Is everybody going available every single time and just hanging out? Right? That was a little bit easier to see when you're in the call center because you could see somebody just not working, right? But when you're working virtual, your dashboards become your lifeline. So make sure that you're getting used to that. Make sure you have them beefed up. Make sure all the details that your supervisors need are on those dashboards, and that they can manage properly to specific KPIs. You might need to change your KPIs as well. We found this. So, before maybe you just, you were looking at quality scores and service level and handle time. Well, you might need to add some productivity things in there now, right? And some of those things include occupancy and, like I said, your unavailable time, after call work. Those type of metrics now, when somebody's at home and maybe they're not being watched as much, become more important. So take a look at your KPIs. Take a look at what you're telling your supervisors to look at and manage to. And you might want to look at adding some of those efficiency type metrics in there as well. The other thing is employee engagement, right? How are you guys having fun? Excuse me. How are you guys having fun when they're at home? There's a lot of different games and things that we're doing with Slack that you can kind of get into. I just posted a couple of them on LinkedIn. I won't go into them again for those of you guys have seen them. But if you're interested, go take a peek at them on LinkedIn. Things like using paper, rock, scissors, and having some tournaments with that. And you can still do some things with cards, with sales, and like playing cards, and if the supervisor's, kind of trustworthy. So there's some ideas that we have on there. We're still kind of feeding that out. It's weird. We had a game going on every single day in our brick and mortar, and we're still trying to do that, but it's been a little bit more difficult, with the at-home deal. I think it's really important now, with the gamification and some of those different tools that are out there, are really going to start to kind of blow up too. We're on In Contact, and we've been thinking about going with InView for a really long time. InView is kind of their advanced reporting and gamification platform. Took a demo with it today. It was really cool. So thinking about doing some of that from advanced quality monitoring, using speech analytics more, and then really looking at some gamification and things that you can do with reps. Speaking of analytics, that goes hand in hand now with your monitoring. I think speech analytics takes on a whole different role and a whole new importance as well, to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to keep your quality standards up, while you're not be able to go and sit next to somebody and kind of talk to them through it. The other thing we're seeing is our monitoring tools are becoming, I guess, more useful. So with our platform, we can listen to an agent in the customer. So we're just plain old monitoring. We can do that. I call the voice of God, right? It's basically when you just come into the headset and you talk to the agent while they're talking to the customer doesn't hear you, to kind of guide them. And then third, we can barge in. So we've been doing that a little bit more of having the supervisors kind of talk to the reps that way too when they're directly on the call, much more than we've done here when we've been on site. So I don't know. I hope that's a little bit of help for you guys. Those are some of the things that we're doing that have been different than what we've done in our brick and mortar. It's been a change, but I think it's a pretty cool change. The other thing I will say is when we come back, I will still probably always keep now, depending on the program, anything that is financial services, credit cards, any type of financial administration, some credit unions and banks that we work for, they're going to come back on premise and in our brick and mortar. There's just more security here. I think it's important, that would never be for me an at-home type program, but we have a lot of other just general customer support without credit card information, giving more information, those type of programs that I think can be. So we're right now working through setting up kind of a mission control kind of area where we're going to have a bunch of flat screen TVs, and the supervisors monitoring the at-home agents. I think will still work here from Expivia, but we'll have a real specific kind of really cool area that they have all the tools in front of them to be able to manage, from the technology side, and keeping all that together. I think is still important from a camaraderie standpoint. So that's what I got for you guys this week. That's kind of how we've managed our new norm. I think the most important thing is the supervisors and how they're managing their teams. Middle management takes on a whole different role now. It's a much more important role. So if you need to beef up your middle management, I think you're seeing that too. If you're struggling, that's probably one of the reasons is that you have weak management or weak supervisors. So make sure that you fix that, especially when we are allowed to come back. Even if they spend a little bit of time, if you want to keep them at home, but spend a little bit of time in the home office and kind of go through some training with them to get them to where you need. But make sure before you do that, your policies and procedures are set. Everybody should be writing those things out. Make sure you have them done. So that's what I got for you guys for this week. Again, just to kind of recap the couple things I said at the beginning. If there's any possible way you guys can shoot out some social media, just maybe, I don't want to say a thank you, but anything that's been really positive or cool about the podcast that you'd like, so that we can maybe get some other people to start to listen as well. I appreciate it. I will always take any reviews that you guys want to give. Appreciate that too. And for any of you guys that are looking, when the dust settles here to say, hey, we did not have the right call center or telephony platform and maybe want some help all the way through, kind of a cradle to grave deal. So I can have one conversation and kind of talk with you, or if you want me to be a kind of a consultant for you, it's totally free to you to work with you, get the proper platform. I'll be there through the negotiating phase and kind of help you with that. And I can even help you with an implementation and kind of, we can talk some of those things through as well. So again, that's callcentergeekconsulting.com if any of you are interested in that. So stay safe, guys. Love hearing from you guys. Check me out on LinkedIn. Say hi on LinkedIn, and I will talk to you guys next week.